Hello, my name is Ree and I like two things. And those are first, lore, and second, Changli. If you don't know, Changli's banner will be available tomorrow. In fact, only a few hours from now, and with that also comes her story quest. So I thought, why not just spit some random theories I have on her and see how far I actually am? I have not seen a single story leak, and also these are less theories than they are who Changli would be if Reveal wrote her, or how Changli's story would go had Reveal wrote it. Because I'm just looking at the potential, alright? Also, forgive me because I just needed to let this out because I've been counting down the days. 23 days of this release since Jin's banner was released, so I really need this catharsis, okay? Her trailer came out a few days ago, and frankly, while it pains me to say this, it was pretty meh. Those are things we already know about the character, but I guess Korra just didn't want to spoil her story quest and wanted to update story skippers about her role in the game. But I'm gonna be honest, I will be really, really pissed if her story quest sucks. So I truly hope that they deliver. Okay, I've yapped enough, so let's start with the first theory. Number 1. My favorite and the least likely, Changli is a villain. Or at least she has other intentions. I said least likely because after playing 1.1, it seems like she really has good intentions, but I won't brush off the possibility right away. In the beginning of the story, there were several notions that Jinxi is merely a puppet magistrate who does everything her counselor Changli asks her to do. Now, in 1.1, Jinxie was shown as someone with agency. That's kind of her entire character arc, but still, lots of those actions could be contributed to Changli. Even Changli's trailer repeatedly points out to that direction. In 1.0, it was stated that the tokens Sanhua gave to Rover or to us were prepared by Jinxi. But later on, during Changli and Jinxi's conversation, it was revealed that that was a bluff because it was Changli who prepared them and not Jinxi. These are repeatedly showcased in Changli's trailer also, painting her as the mastermind of the story so far, at least in favor of Jinzhou. It was due to Changli's calculation that we encountered Scar and Sanhua was made to tail us to make sure we're safe, how they managed to capture Scar, and more. In her conversation with Jinxi, she even said, I'll be your pawn this time, which leads us to believe that being a pawn is not who she is, or that this is the first time she's allowing Jinxi to make a decision that she will then follow. Conversely, this was followed by Jinxi's line saying that it doesn't matter whether she herself is a player or a pawn, which can perhaps make us think that it could be true that she usually is just Changli's pawn. Also, more importantly, in 1.1, Changli said that San Hua was ordered to take Rover or us to her if we go around the city hall to ask for Jinxi. In that same conversation, she revealed that we have a connection with Jue, and that she believes that only us can solve the dilemma that Jinzhou is in. So, she allowed Jinxi to make the decision of venturing in Mount Firmament alone, even though she knew that Jinxi would not succeed without us. And if you paid attention to 1.1 story, you know that going there is a risk in and it itself already. Instead of directly asking us for help, Changli made the conscious decision to first allow Jinxi to decide to go to Mount Firmament alone, second, tell Sanwa to send us to her, and third, wait for us to go to her once we are curious enough, creating the illusion that it was us who needs her help as our wayfinder and not the other way around. This is just manipulation 101. She created the illusion that we are making a decision and that she's doing us a favor, but really she and Jinzhou needs us from the very beginning. She made calculated moves with massive risks along the way. This proves to me, um, this proves her as an interesting and dynamic character as well as a strong strategist. Well, maybe a strategist really just always has to have manipulation tendencies in stories, but truly these actions reek of being an antagonist or an anti hero at least. I don't know, in the end, I'm sure one could argue that Changli was doing what was best for Jinzhou, but she's in no way morally good. Lawful neutral, maybe, or maybe even lawful good. Like, even in her drip marketing, she was described as someone who leverages human nature to corner her enemies into traps. But this is why I'm so excited for her quest. A lot of people are like, oh, she taught Jinxie well, but like, these are her actions. These are her moves. I'd even say that the trailer, that Weichi scene happened before we landed in their world. And they were discussing these moves from Changli that then led to results in their favor. I'd take it if she becomes a villain or if she's just lawful neutral. And I just personally wanted her to be bad because, well, um, bad fictional people are so hot. Anyway, next theory. Second theory, Chang Li will die. I'll get this out of the way quickly because the third and final theory could rebuke this. So, in her birthday line, which I will not include here because it was an early access to that line, I just saw it on Twitter. You just need to trust me on this. Um, in her birthday line, she says, "If I'm still around," regarding our next birthday, which is pretty sus, um, implying that there's a chance that she's not alive by the time of our next birthday. Also, in 1.1, she famously said that she is not concerned about her lifespan. And in addition to that, Jinxie expressed concern about her being in Mount Firmament. Lastly, in her description in game, if you check right now, it said that she's fated to burn brightly until her final embers. Final can only mean death, right? Well, I personally don't think Kuro would kill a playable character this early, but who knows, really? Anyway, this is the most important one. The third and final theory is that Chang Li is an immortal entity. Bonus, we fight her. Okay, I need you to walk with me here. Let's focus on the first one first. She's immortal. I mean, the title of her story quest is called Immortal Blaze, and you can just read the description right here. Pause if you want. She's also affiliated with the Vermilion Bird, and if you look that up, the Vermilion Bird is in charge of fire, called God of Fire, and symbolizes the immortal soul. Also, in her drip marketing, her line states, "Eons of time in this vast land," and hinting at the fact that this, this is a being that existed for a long time. Now, if you log into your game, you'll see the achievements, right? The achievements for the character outro things are based on the character's role in the lore. For example, this is Jinxi's, and if you scroll down, you'll see Chang Li's, and it's called the Hand of God. And you know what Chang Li's hand is? Exactly. Chang Li is classified as a natural resonator, but she herself has two mutations. This is something I don't think that we have seen in the game so far. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they're called mutations really, but those things. So her hair and then the said hand. I'd say that the hair is her natural one, just like Yang Yang, while her hand is her affinity with the vermilion bird, or, in my theory, the vermilion bird itself. My personal theory is that she's immortal, but not in the way that she is as she is right now, has always existed. So, she gets reborn over and over again and experiences a transformation before she could go back to herself every single time. My theory is that she is one with the vermilion bird, but not in the way that Jin Si and Jue are one, but in a more bound kind of way. So, she dies as a human, but since part of her is that mythical entity, the vermilion bird, she has to come back to life. But every time that she does, she's less, or she's changed at the very least. Earlier, I mentioned the drip marketing. I'm going back to that because in the same description, it was stated that she holds her ground against time and chaos. Against, okay? Take that word, against. In this theory, we've established that time represents her complicated relationship with immortality, while chaos, as we know, is often used to represent fire. And we know that in Wuthering Waves in this game, fire is fusion, which is Changli's affinity, and fire is the vermilion bird, which means that chaos could mean the vermilion bird in this context, which takes us to perhaps think that she and the vermilion bird must not have a good relationship with each other. Again, in the drip marketing, her line states, now, this is the part where I cope. Okay, walk with me. We fight her. Okay? You can say that this game she's referring to is just Wei Chi, but then again, if you don't know, in Wuthering Waves, the lines stated in the characters' drip marketing are often the lines they say as their character introductions. So Yinlin says this, Jin Si says this, and so on. If we compare these lines from Changli's, it's just not far fetched to say that she's not on our side, right? Like, we're fighting against her instead of with her. Let's go back to what we established, okay? Changli has a complicated relationship with time and immortality, as well as her power and the vermilion bird. My theory is this: she dies, she gets reborn, but her being reborn means she's either someone else first or that the vermilion bird's consciousness takes over her body, hence, immortal blaze. It's really not Changli who's immortal but the bird. And because they're one, being reborn is an unfortunate scenario for Changli because it gives the vermilion bird the opportunity to seize her body. This is why Jinxie was concerned when she saw Changli in Mount Firmament, even though in the beginning Changli clearly stated that lifespan is not her concern. She said lifespan specifically and not the final death. So, in my theory, alright, we have to fight her in order to bring her back to herself. Hence, a Fusion Weekly boss, everybody. You may be thinking, oh, this content creator has finally lost her mind, and you could be correct, but this is how I theorize this story quest would go, okay? As the description states, we'll see her, we'll get to know her backstory, her relationship with time, the fact that she is dying because she's now back in Mount Firmament. She asks us to fight her when she gets reborn, because that's the only way for her to be back to herself. Okay? So she asks us specifically to fight her, to save her, and so we do. Now, another thing I want to add is that if Changli is really immortal, then that just suggests that she knew us. Not us in the game, but the us that Jue and the Blackshores knew a couple of centuries ago. It's really interesting, man, and Kuro is. If this is not the route you're going for, I really wish it was. Or maybe I'd be grateful to be wrong and it's something way better than my theories. After all, I may be asking for too much because this is just a story quest. It's not even part of the main quest. Anyway, my conclusion. Okay, so you end the ending part of this video, and maybe I'm coping, and the story will be much simpler, or maybe it could be related to the story she told us on our way to Mount Firmament, and her relationship with time is only affected because of her affiliation with Mount Firmament. I don't know. The thing I'm sure is that her companion story or her story quest will revolve around her past and future, time in particular has been a main theme around the lore in Jinzhou, so I know that that's gonna be it for sure. That's gonna be the theme. Whether I'm right or wrong about any of the things I said in particular about the different theories, I don't care, really, because I just want the story to be good. I want Kura to cook and create more interesting things for us. Like, I know a lot of people in the fan base are here for the gameplay, but I, alongside some other people, are here for the characters and the potential behind the story they're putting out. I just wish it's all uphill from here. So that's it for me, folks. If you made it this far, thank you so much for your time. My name is Ree. I do woo lore and silly content, so subscribe if you want. Actually, subscribe if you want to win your 50/50s. And let me know what you think about these unhinged theories as well as your own theories. If you're watching this from the future, comment down below and tell me how genius or how stupid I am. Again, thank you and see you in the next one. If you want to see more robot content from me, subscribe and click the playlist shown on your screen and see you in the next one.